What is there to live for on the American frontier in 1882? Let me tell you something. We live in a terrible place and time. The American West is a dirty, depressing, horrible, shitty place. Everything out here that's not you wants to kill you. Outlaws, angry junks, scorn hookers, hungry animals, diseases, major injuries, minor injuries, Indians, the weather. You know how Jim Wegman, the blacksmith, died? Wet socks. A Million Ways to Die in the West by Seth MacFarlane. So, I picked up this book, A Million Ways to Die in the West by Seth MacFarlane, and I thought I would let you guys know what I thought, since the movie's coming out in the end of May, and he actually novelized the movie and put it out for everybody to read before the movie came out. So I don't know, naturally, how this is. I mean, I've seen things in the trailers that the same jokes from the movie are in the book, and clearly it probably follows about the same, at least I hope it does, follows about the same plot line, and I'm interested. So, but anyway, what do I think of this book? Well, let me start off by saying what I think of Seth MacFarlane, because that's fair. I mean, whether I'm a fan or not. And to tell the truth, when he first came around, when Family Guy first started up, man, I really liked Family Guy. I was in college. I thought, man, the show was so good and it's so witty, and I really liked Family Guy. And I've seen MacFarlane in interviews, and I like him. He seems like a classy, interesting guy. I've fallen out of love with him a little bit, though. I'm not as big a fan of Family Guy anymore. All the spin-off series they've done aren't particularly good, in my opinion. I mean, I didn't really like the Cleveland Show. American Dad's funny. I actually do. I like American Dad. I shouldn't say all of them. I don't know what other shows he's done. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I feel like his act is worn out a little bit, and he isn't quite as funny to me anymore. And maybe it's just because he's not new anymore. And then Ted came out, and everybody loved Ted, and I didn't. I just didn't really like the film. I thought the main character was a jerk and a douche. I thought the end was crap. I just didn't care for the film Ted. I know everybody loves it, and so I'm probably gonna get a little beat down for that opinion. But I know there's a few people who don't like it, like me. But I didn't really like Ted. So now he's coming out with a Western. Seth MacFarlane is doing a Western, and so at first I admit I was like, oh, how bad is this gonna be? How bad is this gonna be? But I'm coming around. Okay, I'm really want to give this a fair chance, and I want this to be good. I really do. I want this to be good. So let's start off with the book, A Million Ways to Die in the West. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about this is that it's not a spaghetti Western, and that seems weird to say, but it seems like everything Western that comes out these days is spaghetti Western inspired, and this is more traditional Western inspired, which I kind of like. I kind of like the fact that he seems to take elements from almost everything that is the Western and puts it into his story, and of course it's got his modern sensibility in it, so that the language is completely wrong in a sense. But I don't mind so bad because it's MacFarlane. I expected that. Now, as far as this book goes, as far as being a read, it's a quick read. I read this in about 2 days in a few spare hours I had here and there, and it's got good humor. It's got witty jokes in it, and I couldn't help but think to myself every time I read one of these good jokes, I'd like to hear someone deliver this line, and I'd like to see the visuals. This reads like a movie script a little bit, and it's not surprising because that's what it is. And so, honestly, if you're asking whether I'd recommend you pick up and read this book, not really. I like this book. I did. I thought it was funny, but the price tag on this thing is $20, and that's kind of high dollar for no more of a book than it is. But I like this book, I really do, but I think you should probably wait for the paperback when it comes down. When the movie's released, I think they'll probably put out a cheaper version, and then I would pick up this book. But right now, probably not, because like I said, wait for the movie. I think the movie's going to be much better than this book was. I like this book, but that's the thing that this book did do for me. I'm anticipating the film now. Like the wit in this book is really good. And I think, man, hearing people deliver those lines, those witty lines, and I think when people first heard MacFarlane was doing a comedy Western, people thought Blazing Saddles. But that's not what this is. This is not Blazing Saddles. This is MacFarlane. And if I have to pick a comedy Western that this reminds me of, I'm going to go more support your local sheriff. And that's not so much in the... Well, actually, yeah, because they use a lot of plot elements from traditional Westerns for a comedy, and on top of that, everybody's just really snarky, and everybody's always got something smart aleck to say. And that's what this is in a lot of ways. And so yeah, if you like support your local sheriff, there's actually a little bit of gear towards this. It's kind of in the same vein, and that's really cool in my mind. It gets me excited to see the film. So I've got a little anticipation now. So hopefully the movie is actually really good, and hopefully they. Honestly, I like the plot line of the book a lot. I really like the plot line of the book, and I really like the end of the book. And that's another reason maybe not to read the book if you're really looking forward to the film, because it might give away the ending. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know if they have the same ending or not. I could see them changing it up. Might be interesting if they do. And so, final thoughts on this book. Seth MacFarlane's A Million Ways to Die in the West. It's a good read. It's a quick read. It's humorous. Little high dollar at the $20 price tag it's out at right now. And if you're really looking forward to the movie, maybe don't pick this up just yet. Kind of hold back. I would say about the time the movie comes out, maybe there's a real cause to. I should have looked up before I started doing this how this is doing on the bestsellers list. I don't know if it's registering with the New York Times or not. But regardless, I like this book. I'm looking forward to the film now. I hope it's good because I've actually got I've got some expectation now. And so there you go, A Million Ways to Die in the West. Those are my thoughts on it, and thanks for listening, guys.